Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you're finally making it out of runs consistently, but you're just not having enough profit to start trading with the big boys in the market? You're not alone. Trinkets and spare gear is enough to sustain your runs, but you'll never break into the big leagues if you don't have a more efficient strategy. Lucky for you, there has been a bubble growing in the Dark and Darker trade market, one which we can take advantage of before it has time to burst. I am Melee veteran and streamer Drisboni, and let's go into a guide on how to make a quick fortune in Dark and Darker. In the latest playtest, mining and crafting mechanics were introduced into Dark and Darker. With the new tool, the pickaxe, you're able to mine rubysilver ore, which you can use to craft rubysilver dust or ingots at different merchants. With enough of either, you're able to craft a special type of armor made of rubysilver. Rubysilver armor is epic grade gear with great base stats and 4 random rows. The thing is, this special type of armor, although very good, is currently overvalued by many players. This has driven the price of rubysilver to the moon. To give you an idea of how overvalued it currently is, let's quickly take a look at the numbers. 1 rubysilver ingot requires 10 rubysilver ore to be crafted, and 1 rubysilver cuirass takes 15 ingots to be crafted, meaning 150 rubysilver ore. The market rate of each rubysilver ore as of right now is around 30 gold. Let's even take that down to 20 and multiply it by 150. The result is an insane 3,000 gold price for a singular chest piece with 4 randomized stats. To give you an idea of how much that is, if you aren't familiar, the maximum amount of gold you can fit within the trade menu is 1,250. Legendary grade cuirasses barely go for half the value of a rubysilver cuirass. You would expect rubysilver's price to be justified by rarity, as would anyone that hasn't seen this guide. But if you know where to look, it's surprising how much of it there is. Which is great news whether you're trying to make your own set or just get rich quickly. So how do I get some? Using a pickaxe that you can acquire for 25 gold from many different merchants, you can mine rubysilver deposits, which are grouped up inside specific rooms in the map. Each deposit can be interacted with 3 to 5 times until it is fully depleted. Each interaction takes a long time and is very noisy, so make sure you're alert and prepared in case someone else is approaching. So where do you look for them? First, let's quickly go over how the map works in Dark and Darker. Game and waiting through the lobby, you'll load into the dungeon. The play area has been confirmed to be picked from a set of consistent variations of one map, with mostly consistent rooms placed at varied locations. The first What a smart guy, isn't he? Well, in this playtest, there are only 2 variations, which the devs have shared in their Discord, which is linked in the description. They're named Crypt 1 and Crypt 2, but we're going to call them Big and Small. In Big, there are 2 locations where you're able to mine for rubysilver. First, we have this terrifying room some of you might remember with the big scary wraith inside. Once the wraith is cleared through honest or dishonest means, you are free to mine any rubysilver deposits, which can be located next to both power shrines or these cubbies in the trapped hallways. Second, there is the big room with the scary lower area that no one wants to look around in. The airspace is occupied by mean death skulls and a big dark pit by a number of zombies. If you can deal with the PvE, the rubysilver can be present in any of the 4 upper corners of the room or in various locations at the bottom. In the other map variation, which we're calling Small, there are also 2 locations where mining rubysilver is possible. The first is this corner room that has a healing shrine and all types of skeletons guarding it. As soon as they're done getting in your way, you're free to mine the rubysilver that can be present in these spots and these other places inside of the loot area. The other is the small frightening room located next to the maze, where you'll be met with annoying spiders backed by skeleton archers and zombies. Once cleared, you are free to pick up a guaranteed lockpick spawn, as well as your prized rubysilver from these following spots. I will leave a full marked map for both variations in the description. There are more locations on the Inferno floor, but that place isn't worth venturing into for our goal, as it is higher risk for something you can achieve without taking a down portal. So how do you do it? I wish I could tell you there's no catch, but unfortunately there are some complications. Unless you have a lucky circle, as a solo it is difficult to clear the PvE mine all of the Rubysilver, and still be inside the safe zone. It's possible that the circle will rush your decision making, forcing you to leave or behind, or stick to mining at the risk of being at a disadvantageous position later. The way you mitigate this complication, of course, is by coming into these rooms at least as a duo, allowing you to clear the PvE and mine everything faster, while being more likely to survive any PvP encounters. Your interaction speed is also very important for this, so classes that have above average interaction speeds as well as the potential to quickly clear out PvE are favored over classes that struggle to mine a rock before the zone puts you in a tough spot, or kill a zombie before he farts all over the place. Being aware of your surroundings before and after clearing the room is going to drastically increase your chance of survival, so try and be very worried the first few times you do it. Your camera movement is not as restricted as you think when you're mining, so use this to your advantage. If you would like to see how I personally do it, feel free to watch the VODs of my previous YouTube streams. It is reasonable to assume you'll be coming out of a mining run with 10 to 15 Rubysilver ore. Now to actually transform this Rubysilver into gold, all you need to do is join the Traders Guild, go into the first trading post, which is currently the most populated one, and post your selling offer. As I mentioned before, the current market rate is 30 gold. Selling a bit below market rate makes it go much faster and save you a lot of time that you could spend mining instead, while still being extremely profitable. I also like to suggest using symbols to make your message bigger. While being a little annoying to everyone else, it does help your message stand out to anyone looking to buy Rubysilver, so don't hesitate to resort to it because it'll mean less waiting time for you. At the end of the day, even if the market rate were to drop to 20, this would still be one of the most consistent ways of making money in Dark and Darker, so make sure you get out there and start mining. Thank you for sticking around until the end of the video. I put a lot of work into these guides, so I hope I was able to teach you something. If you liked this guide, make sure to check out my other Dark and Darker guides on YouTube, as well as share this one with your friends. Don't share it too much though, you're gonna drive down the price of the Rubysilver. But anyway, if you have anything you'd like to add to a subject we touched on, make sure to leave a comment. Any constructive criticism is also appreciated. If you'd like to see more Dark and Darker content, I'll be streaming the rest of the playtest on YouTube right now as this video is released, so make sure to stop by and say hello if you see me in your recommendations.